Happy birthday, Natural Facts. I would say this video is to celebrate, but not really, the date just kind of lined up. Anyway, while I don't want to become a one-trick pony, I do want money. So here we go. I'll make a new compilation when I make Primordials and Paranormals. I'm also going to avoid things about the Titan Souls and Colossals since they need their own facts when I make that video. How many islands are there again? Before we start, I have a second channel if you want to go watch it. Okay, let's start. Plant Island has the same ambience as Sugarbush Island. It's also the only natural island that doesn't have a monster playing throughout the whole song. Well, if you exclude Clubbox's idle animation, but come on. Cold Island has Quibble, Air Island has Quibble and T-Rox, Water Island has Shelby, and Earth Island has Noggin, Mammoth, and Drumpler. Oh, right. There's like nothing interesting for Cold Island. So, forgive me for this. Here's another music thing I don't get. When Air Island first released, it had an unfinished design of the critter. But somehow, this was added to the Steam version when it first came out. And then when the mobile version got Steam's graphics in Update 3.7, it also got the wrong critter. This was fixed for both versions 9 months later. Water Island took the longest time out of any natural island to get an extension to this song, not coming until Tifarena 13 years later. When do you think Earth Island was composed? 2012, right? Well, it probably took a while to develop the island and do all the art, so 2011? Maybe 2010? How about 1991? No, I'm not joking. It was made by Dave Kerr for an unfinished musical, and he said he might still have a video of it. Earth Island's seasonal, mythical, and ethereal all start with H. It's also the shortest island in either game. Sugarbush Island is the only island where monsters have different designs on it, those being Quibble, Octopus, Furcorn, and Deej. It's also the only island named after a monster. The original version of this island was called Love of Monsters, like Lover Money. And the monsters that would have been on it would have been Noggin, Mammoth, Potbelly, Shrub, Drumpler, Octopus, T-Rox, Bogart, and... Punkleton? Okay. The battle theme on the Colosseum was actually music used in the market and loading screen before 2013. Gold Island has the most monsters out of any island, at 112. This weird Book of Monsters glitch happened for Gold Island in 2022, and somehow the number of rare monsters went up by 5. Ethereal Island was the first island added to the game to have a BPM other than 140, and to not be in 4.4. When Ethereal Workshop first came out, it was impossible to use the hotel, since it only had 10 beds, and the triple Ethereal took 15. Firehaven was the only island that was part of Fire Expansion to be missing a natural element, that being cold. Fire Oasis is the only island where the castle and Epic Wellbox don't play together. Mythical Island is the only island to have a critter on its old icon. Light Island has the slowest BPM of any island, at only 80. Fire Frontier Sky is different from Psychic Island Sky, and it was never added to the fan kit, so the quality is just... Fairy Island's castle base is nearly identical to Snizer on Cloud Island. With the two islands being connected, this makes sense. Boat Island shares 2 of its instruments with Magical Sanctum, those being Koto and Pomade. Before the last verse of Magical Sanctum released with Good Day, you were able to hear parts of it early. These were the steps to do it. I have no idea how anyone figured this out. Magical Nexus started with an epics page in the Book of Monsters, despite there being no epic magicals. But then it was removed 2 months later. Paranormal Carnival's castle is way bigger than the other castles, being 7x7 instead of 4x4. It's also the only island to not have 2 sets of obstacles, and the first island to be added to the main timeline after the map changed. There's also a few decorations that are just not on this island for some reason, those being Phony Mine, Phantomonium Stage Maquette, and all the Feast Ember, Clover Spell, and Echoes of Eco decorations. When the first new Aux seasonal events happened in 2022 and 2023, Seasonal Shanty will get new decorations added for each one. It's also the only island where no monster shares an element, unless you count Waveform on the Clubbox, but that's not an island, shut up. And it has the most paths, at 19. The 4 quads originally intended for the Magical Island released on the Amber Island in the reverse order of their island's release orders. First was Yelmit, then Flummox, then Krilby, and lastly, Enamimi. Also, Amber Island's obstacles resemble both the Dawn of Fire Tree and Kana. Amber Island also has the most 3x3 monsters of any island, at 9. It used to be Wublin Island at 17, but most of them got shrunk. If you exclude legendaries, because that's cheating, Wublin Island has the most English-speaking monsters out of any island, at 4. Celestial Island is the only island to have every monster be of the same class and element. Well, unless you count Starhenge, but it's the exact same lineup of monsters, so... Tribal Island is the only island to not be given any new monsters since its release, which also means that outside of bug fixes, this island has never been updated once. For now, memes does not let up. Composer Island was the first Colossal to show any signs of life, opening its eyes. Didn't I say the Clubbox Acts were not islands like just a little bit ago? Whatever, I need to get to 8 minutes. Palmley Family Band is the only Clubbox Act to have 2 monsters from the same class. Blitherfish was the first time a Wublin or Celestial was added to another island. Shut up, those are the same. Waveform is the only act where every single monster only has 1 element. The Scarecrow from the Garden Patch on Mirror Plant Island is the only purchasable Dawn of Fire structure to appear on the Mirror Islands. Mirror Cold Island is the only island where none of the Wellboxes play together. Mirror Air Island doesn't have T-Rox's 3rd track. These bubbles next to the Wishing Well on Mirror Water Island are from the Whirlpool, a scrap Dawn of Fire structure. Mirror Earth Island is the only Mirror Natural Island to have the same critter as its normal version, since Wickman's the same on both. Plasma Island's official Monster Handler mix has a beta sound for socks in it. The wiki also says that whale's different, but I don't hear it. Let me know if you do. Plasma Island was also the longest teased island in the game, first being hinted at on October 5th, 2024, and released 145 days later on February 19th, 2025. Mech Island has the fewest vocalists of any island, at only 3. Shadow Island is the only island to have a tempo change. And the only one to change the monster's volume mid-song.
Boom shakalaka la. Boom shakalaka la. Shakalaka la. La 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 la.
Also, when it first came out, the icon for collection was coins instead of shards. Crystal Island is the only island in the game where every monster and the base play at the exact same time. Mirror Light Island is the only island to have 2 titans, having both Phosphora and the baby Glubber who combine with the island. Mirror Psychic Island has the longest name out of any island, at 19 letters. Also, a part of the floor used to be see-through when it first came out. On a very similar note, this part of Mirror Fairy Island's island selection was see-through. Mirror Bone Island has a different grid from normal Bone Island. The continent is the biggest island, having 2,288 grid squares. It's also the longest song, at 3 minutes 51 seconds. Party Island is the only outer island where all monsters take the same time to teleport. Space Island is the only island where Bowhead and Bogart play together. Cloud Island has the most monsters that are only on it and no other outer island, at 15. Cave Island is the only outer island to not have the same BPM as its magical counterpart. Not counting islands released on the same day, the gap between Wanderer Island and Paranormal Carnival was the shortest ever, at only a week apart. Starhenge is the only island in Dawn of Fire with a full skybox, since the other islands have a floor that spans the entire screen. So, I actually just have nothing to say for the outro. Sorry.